Sarah, Block Editor. I'm here with C's, who was recently named as Neo Tokyo Council member. This series of interviews is designed to help citizens get to know their community council and community leads. So we're going to jump right in with C's. So give us your pre-crypto background and experience and tell us a little bit about that.
Crypto, I had a lot of odd jobs because I'm a writer by trade. So I went to grad school for writing. And then while I was working on my first novel, I waited tables. I homeschooled troubled kids in high school, including, well, I won't name their names, but famously troubled kids. I taught high school too. I was a circus clown. I worked for casino security and consulting deception, and then I ended up writing novels and screenplays, which is what I do now.
Oh, that's quite a varied background you've got there. The homeschooling one is interesting. You don't get that often, although I have come across quite a few citizens that are in that realm. It's interesting because I've homeschooled my own kids.
It was a specific challenge. I was an SAT tutor when I first got to LA at like 23. And I got recruited. There were a bunch of students who were rich enough to fire their teachers repetitively. And so they had trouble keeping these students in high school. And so they would call me in to deal with, there were musicians or children of famous people or whatever, and they controlled the money. And so they controlled firing the teachers. And so they would bring me in to sort of teach high school to kids who had the power to fire me at any time, which is a special kind of job.
It's interesting. I mean, it takes a special skill. I'm aware of that. Okay, give me the story of how you got into Neo Tokyo.
Great question. I got into crypto in 2016. I met someone in the back of a cab in New York who told me about this Ethereum white paper. And so I went home and read it and got into that. Went through all the altcoin booms and busts. And then wasn't a crypto YouTube guy. I didn't really follow any influencers or look at anything, but I was in the space and I had minted a bunch of dumb projects before that and saw all the hype going up. But I saw a lot of references to code. I don't know how to code. I don't know what computer code is really. I'm more educated now, but still quite silly and dumb about it. And I thought, well, that's not for me. I like puzzles, but I don't know how to solve code puzzles. And I saw it all going down. I had a kind of FOMO from it. It looked like so much fun and everyone's getting into it. And so I thought, well, next time I'm not going to miss that. So for S2 Mint, I minted an S2. I was in line and did the whole thing. And then really got into the idea of a decentralized community. I thought that was really fun and cool. And in the Discord, I liked the way it was being built up. From the ground up. It seemed like people were really involved. And that's kind of all I wanted to get from an NFT community because I'd been trading altcoins by myself, much to the chagrin of my partner who just looked at me disparagingly every time I had rushed out of the computer to mint or to do an ICO or something. And so, yeah, I got into S2 basically. And then I liked what I saw and I kept trying to trade up and kept trying to make a bigger impact and to be more involved.
Okay, that's good. I think these are important. I think the biggest story everyone wants to hear is like, why'd you get in Neo Tokyo, right?
Yeah.
So what do you spend most of your time working on now? Like, is there a Web3 project? Is it an outside job? Where does most of your time go?
I work as a writer now. So we're on strike right now. I am writing a feature for Warner Brothers that's animated. And so animation is sort of weirdly not covered by WGA rules. And so that project has persisted. Right before the strike, I sold a show to HBO and have a show at Skydance. And so theoretically, I'm supposed to be working on those right now during the strike as well, although technically not allowed to. And so right now, my full-time life is this feature and then going back to TV. The last 3 to 5 years have just been staffing on TV shows, writing features. I
had no idea I was in the presence of a famous writer. That's amazing.
Well, me neither. Yeah, staff writing TV shows is famously unglamorous, I would say. You get to be close to the action, but not in the action, which suits me just fine.
I have no idea how it's done, so it's very mystical and famous sounding to me. So let's just leave it at that.
I'll take it.
Okay, so what are your strongest areas of expertise?
The only reason I'm a writer is because I think I'm not very good at anything else. And so if I have any areas of expertise, it's probably narrative. Well, it's not even an area of expertise. It's an area of intense curiosity. So I'm really curious about community-driven storytelling. I'm really interested in narrative. I'm really interested in tangible, ownable digital assets that can be part of a narrative experience. Like all those things are really compelling to me, just because I sort of come to this from a storytelling perspective. I went novels to screenplays to Web3. And so I think that there's a massively untapped opportunity for narrative experiences using the blockchain. And anyone that's dabbling with that is someone I want to talk to and someone I'm interested in. And so that's kind of where my interest or focus lies. I wouldn't say expertise, but hopefully a developing expertise in that area.
No, that's good. I mean, narrative and storytelling is one of those things people often have troubles with, right? And it would be good for people to know that you're a pro at it, right? So I like that. What do you absolutely hate working on?
I hate working on copywriting. I'll do it, like I'll help with copywriting for various projects, but purely functional writing, there's a certain joy to it, but it gets really tiresome and boring after a while. So I would say copywriting I don't like, creative writing I do like.
So just to clarify, I think I understand what you're saying, but copywriting versus creative writing, what would the normal person like associate with each of those?
Like if I was writing ad copy or a technical manual explanation or a introduction to a functional blockchain technology, that I don't really love doing that, but I'll do it. But I do like the sort of creative aspects of things. So if I can tend more towards one than the other, that's preferable to me. Makes
sense. Okay. What have you done for or inside of Neo Tokyo, or what are you most known for here?
I wrote Codebreaker, which a lot of people hated me for, which was a good introduction to that. Firestorm and myself and 2 other people collaborated on that. And I really had a good time writing that. And so I think I was kind of under the radar for the bulk of that experience, which allowed me to be in all the chats and sort of listen to citizens brainstorming and going down dead ends and rabbit holes. And it was a bit of schadenfreude and a bit of excitement about that. But then afterwards they're like, oh, this guy wrote this thing and you can direct all your hate mail to him. And so I think that's probably where people know me from. I was doing a lot of writing for these what can I say about this? There's some new releases coming out of Neo Tokyo based on sort of canonical lore and narrative that I wrote that'll be coming out soon. And then constantly trying to assist other citizens, like Fav, for example, has this great Wikipedia project, this Neo Tokyo wiki that's so good and so smart. And so I try to help him when I can. Not that he needs it, but anyone that can jump into the pool and help someone swim is good. So I help with that a little bit. And then I've actually ended up helping to write for a bunch of citizen projects. So I did the lore for Non-Fungible Arcade. I helped with Fukushima Fish. Probably 1 or 2 that I'm missing, that I kind of jump in where I can, where I think I can be of value and just sort of help citizens get their projects off the ground.
I love that. I didn't know you did NF Arcade. I love their stories. That's fantastic. Rad.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, well, that's one of those examples where they get such dope artists in Web3. And I don't have access to that. I have access to cinematographers and filmmakers and actors and stuff, but visual artists, I don't have access to them. And when I see the level of talent that some of these projects hire and get on board, the chance to sort of co-create or collaborate with these visual artists and tell stories together is so awesome and exciting and fun for me to do. Just because you're like, and the guy, there's a citizen named Jeff Trevis in Neo Tokyo who's incredibly talented. And so getting the chance to sort of work behind the scenes with him a bit on some stuff has been rewarding. And same thing with the artist for Non-Fungible Arcade, who's just a G. He's so good. So talented. Yes,
I love their stuff. I've had a lot of fun on their project. Next question. Why did you want to join the Leeds Council? Leeds or the Council?
I am really interested. I'll say it this way. I'm really interested in collaborative leadership. It's something I've always been interested in. And I'm really specifically interested in decentralized communities, because in order to move forward, a certain degree of centralization is kind of necessary historically. in order to move decisions through a sort of funnel point or try to get things actually moving in a functional, timely fashion. But also Web3 is inherently decentralized. We're community led. Everyone's voice is equal. And the sort of bifurcation of those two ideas coming together to create something that's bigger than the whole was the kind of experiment I wanted to be in. I didn't want to be in a project like Yuga Labs. I didn't want to be in a centralized environment. I wanted to find something that was community driven and that was built from the ground up. And I don't know of a better example than Neo Tokyo. I don't know of another actual functional example than Neo Tokyo, if I'm being honest. There's a couple that kind of come up and fall apart very quickly. But it's almost like Oneida or one of the utopian groups of the early 19th century or late 19th century, where you see these groups come together to try to create a utopia that seems impossible and they fall apart. Well, Neo Tokyo kind of is not falling apart. It's kind of succeeding in that area. And so the experiment from day one of minting an S2 has just drawn me further and further into it. So it felt like a natural progression from the writing side of trying to do the lore and help sort of codify the narrative and the canon of Neo Tokyo to move into that centralized, sort of semi-centralized leadership position. So I was just really interested to be a part of it and just see how the whole thing functions. And again, try to give back to something that's really given so much to me. Like, I know that sounds kind of cliche and cheesy, but it's really true that so much of my thinking and emotional stability of Web3 comes from the people in Neo Tokyo, and trying to support that as much as I can just feels like a no-brainer to me.
Great answer. Here's the toughest question. Which one word do you want people to strongly associate with you?
Feisty.
Feisty. That's your word? Feisty?
Yeah,
I'll
take it.
Right.
Yeah, feisty.
All right. Feisty. All right. Are you going to change your Discord name or no? Can we get an addition on there?
God, can you imagine? That would be a terrible.
Feisty
Not that my name now is
Seas.
good. Yeah, Feisty Seas. Yeah. I'm one of those people who regrets their Discord name intensely, but it's way too late to change it. I think there's a lot of us in this mix. Yours is good. Yours is so fucking solid and nice. It's good.
Well, I didn't join Discord before crypto, right? So I was able to, I know a lot of you guys are gamers and something and have had Discord names for 9 years, but mine was joined specifically for crypto. So I think it worked out well for me.
You did it right, sister.
Last question. Tell us a little something about you that others may identify with, like hobbies or outside interests.
I am a massive reader. I don't know if people identify with this, but I love novels more than anything in the world. They're my favorite art form. They're the things that made me kind of who I am, and this sort of distilled my thinking. And so whenever I can get back to novels and fiction, I feel most at home and I feel happiest about it. I don't know, actually, now that I'm saying this, I don't know how relatable this is actually, but I hope it is. I hope it is to people. I really
I think it's
adore
very
this.
relatable. Everyone's got their niche, right? I was just talking with Crasher, and it was motorcycle riding, which he had bonded with some other people over. But novels, I'm in the writing world too, right? And not everybody's a reader, right? We've got YouTube watchers and podcast listeners, and I've got my list of novels that I love. So what's your favorite author, novel, series? What do you love?
I'm going to toss this question back to you too, because I'm really curious now to know. I really love Murakami. I really love Chuck Palahniuk. I really love a guy named Jess Walter. Who else am I into right now? That's the top 3, I'd say. Or Don DeLillo, I suppose, is in that mix. What about you? What's your go-tos?
I'm a classics fan, so I love all the English lit classics. So the Bronte sisters and all those, huge fan. My go-to would be Ayn Rand. I love Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead. Huge fan of those. So those are ones that I will go back and listen to a lot. There's a long list, but those are on the top.
I will tell you, the Ayn Rand crypto Venn diagram, very large. Very large overlap in those respective libertarian communities. That's cool.
Yeah. Good reads all around. Okay, that is all we have for this question series with C's. These will be posted on the Neo Tokyo news site, so people can go ahead and scan for their leads and council members and get to know who they need to talk to. And that's all we have.
Thank you very much.